Welcome to Gaz Ed. Today we will be discussing how to build virtually anything with Claude Code and n8n together. A beginner's guide to combining a coding agent with a no-code automation platform to ship real, useful workflows fast. We're going to look at a highly structured approach to take those powerful automations you might already have running quietly in the background and seamlessly transform them into beautiful, public-facing web applications. Here is the roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be moving from back-end logic all the way to a live storefront. We'll cover from automation to app, the core tech stack, optimizing the back-end, building the front-end, and finally deployment and security.
Section 1. From automation to app, moving beyond simple back-end scripts. Traditionally, turning a back-end automation into a user-facing product took a whole dev team. But today, that barrier is completely gone. This entire process, going from a rough idea to a fully deployed, highly functional app, can literally be executed in just 40 minutes. It's wild. This highlights the absolutely incredible business value of rapid prototyping. You can take an internal workflow, optimize it, build a polished user interface, and push the whole thing live to a public URL in less time than a standard lunch break.
To hit that staggering speed, we use a tool called Claude Code. Now, don't just think of this as another chatbot. This is your hired digital architect living right inside your workspace, like VS Code. Instead of annoyingly copying and pasting code snippets back and forth from a browser window, this agent operates directly within your local file system. It can see your project, it can write code, run terminal commands, and audit your existing setups completely on your behalf.
Moving on to Section 2, the core tech stack. Let's map these tools to their actual business functions. Think of n8n as your factory, right? This is where the heavy lifting, data processing, and all those AI integrations actually happen. Claude Code, on the other hand, is your builder. It connects all the plumbing and basically paints the walls of the user interface. Then we have GitHub, which acts as your warehouse, securely storing every single version of the code your builder writes. And finally, Vercel is your public storefront. It takes whatever is sitting in the warehouse and instantly displays it to the world on a live URL.
So how do all these tools actually talk to each other? Well, the workflow execution breaks down into 4 distinct steps. First, we start by setting the system guidelines in a simple document called Claude.md. Basically, this just tells the AI what our end goal is. Next, we connect MCP servers. Now, these are essentially secure bridges that allow Claude Code to look directly inside your n8n factory and your GitHub warehouse. Once connected, the AI optimizes the backend and then finally generates the user interface.
Section 3. Optimizing the backend. Time to prep those workflows for public deployment.
To prep our factory, Claude Code is going to audit the workflow and handle the translation for us automatically. It will convert those internal manual chat triggers into webhooks that can actually receive data over the internet. It ensures that, hey, if a user uploads a photo, the system actually knows how to decode that raw base64 string. It also makes sure the final output is routed correctly, so your front end receives a clean response, not some messy error log that ruins the user experience.
And honestly, this is where it gets revolutionary. You do not need to manually rewrite these workflows or bang your head against the wall debugging API configurations. Just give the agent the context and let it solve routing or memory errors automatically. If the app requires conversation memory, say like a fitness coach remembering a user's previous questions, Claude Code will actively go into your n8n workflow, add the necessary window buffer nodes, and rewire the connections itself. It's what we call iterative confidence. You oversee the big picture strategy, while the AI handles the tedious node-by-node execution.
Section 4. Building the front end. We are going to prompt your UI into existence.
You won't be writing a single line of CSS or HTML here. Instead, you just outline your clear business requirements in plain English. For example, you might ask for a sleek dark mode aesthetic using Tailwind CSS, a mobile-friendly layout, and specific features like tracking user messages to reward them with gamified points and levels. Claude generates the necessary front-end code instantly in a local testing environment. It literally creates the interface you imagined, right there, directly from a text prompt.
Now, development here relies entirely on clear communication. Let's say you're testing the app locally, and things look just a bit off. Maybe the front end displays this bulky, raw JSON code block instead of natural, readable language. No need to panic or go digging through coding forms. You just take a screenshot of the error, show it to the agent, and literally tell it to correct the output formatting. The AI will then update the backend system prompt, rewrite the response structure, and fix the issue on the fly.
Finally, Section 5, Deployment and Security, going live safely and managing risk.
Because all our tools are fully synced, deployment is just beautifully fluid.
Any adjustment made by Claude Code locally is pushed to GitHub with a simple command. Once it hits the GitHub warehouse, Vercel detects that change and auto-deploys the code to your public storefront in a matter of seconds. It's a continuous, automated loop. If you decide to change the color scheme from, say, blue to green, you just tell the AI. It pushes the code, and a minute later, your live public website updates automatically.
But hold on a second. Deploying a live app does introduce real-world risk. You're exposing a portal into your back-end operations to the open internet. So this requires a completely crucial security check of your automated pipeline before going public.
This brings us to an absolutely critical rule for anyone operating in this space. Never, ever hard-code your API keys or open webhooks into the front-end code that you push to GitHub. If bad actors find an exposed webhook URL, they will spam it, and they can drain your N8N or OpenAI credits overnight. Always use Vercel's environment variables. This keeps your credentials hidden and encrypted on the back end, ensuring your application makes secure API calls without ever exposing your private keys to the public eye.
This workflow absolutely proves that, with a structured approach, any non-technical operator can ship incredibly powerful, professional-grade apps. The barrier to entry is evaporated. Your competitive advantage is now simply your ability to clearly articulate what it is you want to build. So what internal workflow is sitting in your backend right now that could be your next public product? That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.